Well, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good.
Iris Forcier. I got her.
CherylAnn Chapman. Coffee and a podcast. We're having too much fun.
Yeah, we're having some fun talk this morning before we got started.
Toast, your coffee.
And we're gonna toast.
Look at your cute little doggy cup.
Oh wait, toast. We need a doggy cup. Orange, which is funny. Orange.
Oh, I love
and
orange.
then she brings me these beautiful
Orange
flowers. Orange.
I'm in the mood.
Wearing kind of that color, but I've got my socks on.
Oh yeah. What do they say? Because you're
awesome
so kind
and kind.
That's what I got her. Awesome and kind.
I'm like, I feel like I'm all
strong like my coffee.
Oh, strong like my coffee.
Yeah.
Which my coffee. What?
So strong.
You're strong. Yeah, I think I got this right after all the damage on the house, and I'm like, I'm strong. I got it.
Yeah.
I just unearthed it because I'm going through all the clothes.
You
and
look
that.
nice.
But thank
really
you.
Look nice.
But it's all about oh
yeah. We wanted to introduce these guys. They caught my eye in her house, and I'm like,
I took them down. They're so fun. They have little, they're little springs on them on the back.
That's a cat.
And then this is the roof.
Yeah,
so
and,
these are part of the Spanish, tradition for the holidays.
Oh,
and all
and
that
speaking
kind
of that,
Oh, yeah.
show off your book because she's gonna cook from this.
My sweet Mexico.
Mexico.
So this has all. Hola.
¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. That's all I know. That's all you get from me. That's the extent of my Spanish. If you want to teach me some more.
I'm gonna flip to the page. It's 119. If I could see it without my.
Oh, you gotta get your glasses.
Gotta get my glasses.
Gotta get your glasses on. What?
It's 119.
What are you making?
I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
Be patient.
I'm on my second cup of coffee.
Oh, I'm not. These.
What is that?
These are called the little cinnamon ears.
They look like a pommier, like a French pommier.
Yeah. So these little guys.
If you don't know. They look like a
right
pommier
there.
cookie.
That's what I'm gonna. Well, these are the cones right there. But
if I showed you a picture, they look just like it.
Oh, nice.
In fact, I'll pull it up because now you got me.
Yeah. So I went and bought the puff pastry, and we'll see how that
French
goes.
Pompeii. French pommier cookie.
I would just make fun at everything,
Jesus.
don't we?
Oh my God.
Oh, she's in that. This is my cup of happy. This is what I'm drinking this morning. And it's by Ray Dunn. And it's a medium. It's the, Ray Dunn. It's Ray Dunn. And this is the one that does the cups and all of that. They all, never mind. She's looking for that. It's a whole series they did. So Ray Dunn was very popular.
I think I said it wrong. Palmer's or no. See, look, it looks just like them.
Blank screen.
Internet
looks just like
taking.
Similar.
CC.
Yeah. We buy those. We'll buy the little minis. So there's some of the really mini ones.
Yeah.
See, we'll show. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess they could be called. Wait, no. Let me make it big again. Hold on. No. Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. That's a big picture. Those look just like the palm.
Yeah, these are going to be bigger. Well, we'll see. We get what we get.
Or like these, like those.
Yeah, I kind of like those.
There's so many versions. Anyway,
there's a lot of versions. So I really...
she's into the Mexico cookie.
Well, I just wanted to...
Fun.
I wanted to say, I am not taking over your job, Lourdes. Lourdes, you've got this.
Yeah,
this is
Lourdes
just me
is
having
amazing.
some fun. She's
Lourdes
amazing.
is CherylAnn's good friend who's a baker in Tacoma.
Lulu's Bakery in Tacoma.
Yeah, and she does amazing things. And then for a treat, which I just ate and is now in my teeth, CherylAnn, show them
Don't
this.
look at her mouth.
For
breakfast.
Yeah, like for a snack. I already had breakfast, but this is a good snack. It's a Belvita soft bake banana bread.
They're really, really good.
And I didn't think I'd sit here and eat the whole thing, and then she had to get me another one, but I'll give it back to you.
No, that's to go.
Because she didn't want me to have crumbs dripping.
No, I just thought you could be able to see the way we ripped the bag open.
Yeah.
You couldn't quite see what was in there. So
good.
But yeah, so
how are you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing
with
good.
You? Yeah?
Doing good. Yeah.
You're baking. You're
what?
Yeah.
She makes it sound like I'm just like
Susie Baker.
Susie Baker. No,
or
my
she's a
son
little bake oven.
and Gabby got me one of those
I don't know.
What do you call those things?
I'm not good. Like I fail at Pictionary.
I think my coffee needs to be stronger.
Yeah.
You know the pastry things where the big.
The Philadelphia? No,
like a big Cuisinart, you know, the big mixers. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Was that really hard, people? Sorry.
Did they get you that for Christmas?
So they got that for me last Christmas, and I have not used it yet. Gabby actually came over and used it.
You know, my husband uses ours every morning to make eggs. Like he makes an omelet.
Oh,
and he likes to fluff them up.
Oh.
And it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in use because he knew I wasn't using it and he bought it for me a couple Christmases
ago. Gotcha. Well, I really want to be able to
every morning for eggs.
Make the sweetbreads so that I don't have to always. Because when you go to the Spanish stores or Mexican stores, they really the conch those ears they have a different word. They go so fast.
Yeah,
and
because they're light and fluffy.
Yeah, the funny thing about them is they call them sweetbreads.
Yeah,
but they're not super sweet, and that's what I like because you know we're getting older.
Yeah,
I've had so much sugar in my life. I think I could be petrified as a sugar cube.
Right,
and that's not good for your body and for diabetes and all that. So we really are trying to watch our intake of sugar.
So sugar in moderation for us.
Yeah, so when I went and bought those, they were really good though. Those treats that I showed you for the sweetbreads or sweet rolls, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
At Costco, the almond ones are not as sweet, which I really liked. And then the other ones, once the glazing kind of disappeared, you know, like kind of went into the bread, then it wasn't as sweet. And I remember back in the day, like, man, the sweeter the better. And,
yeah, sure.
But now I'm just like, ooh.
I feel ill.
I know how much, I'm like, I'm going to go into a sugar coma.
Yeah.
So
I always
those
have to have
ones,
something salty after
that. Oh, yeah, I do love that sweet and salty. But so that's the only reason why. And I want to be able to control what's going in it and the preservatives and all that kind of, I mean, I know they don't at the Mexican shop, but when you're buying the other stuff, they put preservatives in it to make the shelf life.
And really, if you had your druthers, maybe you'd buy flour from Europe that doesn't have all the bad stuff in it too. So you can order it online.
You can do that. That's very good. Well, that'll be a whole other subject.
That's a micro mini-sode one day.
Exactly. Well, it might be a little bit more than a micro mini because that's probably a lot of different things when you talk about preservatives. And could that be more than 15 minutes?
Mini.
Yeah,
It might be.
Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
So what I do this weekend?
Sorry. What did you, Iris? What did you? Oh, look at how cute she looks. She's all dressed out.
I always dress up for her.
I know, I feel so special. Look what I do. I just go casual.
Anyway, what did I do? Oh my God, I did my first talk in front of an audience.
Amazing.
With my friend. I was really honored. She's a master in Kung Fu and really just a badass all around self-defense and martial artist. And she's just a natural. She's just gifted. She's skilled. Well, she's worked at it. So I got to share the stage and work with her. She invited me. And we taught this audience some self-defense.
Nice.
And talked about women's safety and empowerment. And that, oh my God, I was so nervous. My knees were shaking being in front of, but I did well. And I was able to make some funny, comments. And it surprised me. But I was really nervous. But I think it's when you're, CherylAnn pointed out to me, when you're passionate about something, it's easier for you to talk about in front of people. And it was. And we even had questions from the audience.
And you're prepared. So if your friend would have said, hey, I'm going to have, Iris talk about something, you might be like, what? I get that way, like deer in headlights.
Yeah, right. No, we had a little, we had a plan. We worked out the plan the day before, which would have looked hysterical in her living room in Aberdeen. I'm like, okay, choke me. Okay, you choke me. Okay, you pull my hair. And we're right in front of the window.
All of a sudden.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Open up.
We saw some activity. The neighbors were reporting.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
So we had to close the shades, it was interesting. But and we don't recommend you doing this with family members. If you're going to help learn self-defense, do it with your friends that are on the same level or page or colleagues that you're doing it with, because mates never help. I mean, they try, but they're always going to challenge you. Like, oh, well, what if I did this? And it's like, dude, I'm just learning it. You got to slow down, you know, and you got to give me the opportunity to learn the skills. But a lot of family members or mates will always say that. It's universal. It's like, well, you couldn't protect yourself like that. You know, like they just have like an attitude. Anyway, that was my day yesterday.
Probably because they're like, whoa, she could kick my ass.
Yeah, no, that's not what they're thinking. People get weird. As soon as you get family members involved or mates, they're like, that's never gonna work. I mean, seriously, it's like it's weird. Like, dude. And as my friend Susan said, well, the truth is it would work, but I'd have to break your arm, and then where would we be? You know. So
yes, let's not go there.
We're practicing to get better in self-defense, not to break our family members or our mates' arms.
Oh yeah,
or legs. Or anything else. Anyway, that's what I did yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Blah, blah, blah.
No. That's why she's so full of energy.
Yeah, I know. I was like, ready to fight.
She got her.
I guess we're going to do it. No.
Yeah.
That's a whole other
Because you've been doing that for how long now?
Years.
And you're black belt?
No, yes. Oh, God.
Yes,
I but I forgot about it.
She's a black belt, people.
I haven't been practicing in a year, though.
Oh, so turn that off.
So if you're not practicing, you feel out of it. Like I felt a little out of it in the beginning. But then I got right back up to speed. But, I'm looking for a personal martial arts coach. If anyone out there knows one. But I have a couple ideas. I'm not ready to join a group again. I've done different styles. And I'm ready to just do some private training.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because you've done that. Now it's just focusing on you.
Focusing on
and
me.
not on the group. It's just individual coaching.
That's right.
So I think that's great.
Yeah. So that I feel empowered. Because... You know, some of us learn martial arts because we're scared, because we don't want to get attacked, and we want to know what to do. We want to know how to react. Anyway,
exactly.
That's my stick. I stick my tongue out, but it's full of banana bread.
Then you're going to remind me of who's that ventriloquist? That Walter. And Walter's like, now he does that. So it reminds me of Walter. That's too funny.
God, that's funny. Okay,
just the expression.
What are you doing today?
I'm presenting today.
She is presenting today.
We'll see how I do. Well,
okay, let me put my glasses on.
Actually, it all started because part of Buffini and Company, our Remax Elite, we are a part of
Brian
learning.
Buffini.
Who did I say?
Buffini.
Brian. Yeah, it's Brian Buffini. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought you guys said it wrong. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just making sure.
Yeah, Brian Buffini and Company. Credit. So he is been in the industry for over 30 years. He also is in real estate in the coaching. And,
coaching. Okay.
Yeah, so he coaches. He's amazing. We're going through a new training on hospitality and all that kind of stuff.
How to be a better real estate agent, or how to be successful.
It's all about all of that. It's so in the industry, what makes me any better than the person down the street that's being a realtor.
Right.
So and what it really does boil down to is, like your follow through and your hospitality and your caring for the person, not the commission, which it should never be about the commission. It should always be about the person and about what their needs are.
That's right.
And it could take 10 years till that person's been able.
Absolutely.
You've been there.
Oh, we've been there.
It could be 10 years of the right timing, the right place, the whole bit, and then just being by their side and not dumping them. So we're going through that, and on our last coaching session that we had, before the one before that, they brought up John Acuff, and he is another wonderful. His book is amazing, so I will be doing a spiel on him.
Okay.
His is soundtracks, and it's about the soundtracks that we play in our head.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that.
And that's the book I gave you last, and then I gave her this book as well. It's
I have a lot of reading.
Not on top of what we already do.
I know. Research. Reading books.
I love it when the authors actually read their books, because their passion comes through.
What do you mean when authors read their books?
So when you are part of Audible, Audible, the author can either choose to have somebody else read their book, narrating it.
Okay.
Narrating, sorry.
Okay.
They can narrate their book, or they can choose to do it. And I love it when the authors do it because they put such passion and it's their story.
Wow.
It's their story to tell. That's why this guy here will... How do we figure out we're going to pronounce his name?
We're going to make it up because there's no pronunciation for us anywhere on Google, which really bummed me out. Will Guidara.
And
if it's not right,
different. There's not a lot on him. So, like, I was trying to find out, the back of Rose Frank, like his father and their history and all of that. And he's pretty private, which I respect that. I understand. So we're going to go with how you pronounced it.
Guidara.
So this Guidara, his book is Unreasonable Hospitality. I'll move it closer.
Unreasonable what?
Unreasonable hospitality.
Unreasonable.
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 So unreasonable.
Is not
I can give you no. It's good. I know you'd think unreasonable.
Negative.
What do you mean it's unreasonable? Yeah, I know.
Negative.
It's like totally opposite.
He's going to scold people.
So no. So I'll jump right into one of his stories.
All right.
So it's amazing all the stuff he goes through the book, and definitely what I want to listen to again. And then I bought the book so I can highlight different stuff so I can go back through.
Yeah.
And that's why I bought John Acuff's book so I could do the same thing. So I can go back and highlight those things.
That's nice.
And then I have the best of both worlds. I have it in quick reference, and then I can also re-listen to it again.
Right.
But so this goes right up our alley because being hospitable doesn't come easy to everybody.
No. It's really
You can learn it, but if it's in your bones...
It's in my bones.
It's in my bones. Yeah, then
we got hospitality
that's
in our
the way,
bones.
Yeah, that's the way...
that's why we're here.
You get... It's so funny. Getting more coffee for you. No, I'm kidding. So, I'm just totally joking. So, an example of that would be he had overheard at his restaurant that these people just had this like amazing trip, and he references a couple times in his book. They just had this amazing trip. They went to all these great restaurants, and now all of a sudden I went blank on his. It's 11 Madison Park, because I remember the park. In New York. They wanted to go to their restaurant because they'd heard great things about it.
Right.
So he's overhearing and like, we had such a great trip, and we're going to be on our way, but dang it, the one thing we didn't get while we're here in New York is their street dogs. And so he's like, I can't let them leave without having a street dog, right?
Oh my God.
So he runs down the street. He's good buddies with the guy, the vendor in the corner, grabs a street dog, comes back to the chef.
Oh, I'm going to cry.
And the chef is like,
what's that?
I learned a lot about restaurant business. I'd only been in it a short time, but that was like fast food. This is fine dining.
Right.
And you can't just go to the chef and go, hey, can you do something with this? The chef runs. I mean, your GM and your chef, they have to marry. They have to collaborate.
They really do. I've been in
They run the back show, but it's about getting the back show and the front show to marry together.
That's right.
And that's what these guys did at 11 Madison Park.
Right.
So he went to Daniel, and okay, here's the picture. Here's Daniel. And there's Will. And
this is Will.
Yeah, this is Will. That's right. This is Will, and this is
his business partner at the time.
Business partner at the time, Daniel.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, I really need you to split up this dog into 4. That's his wife.
I know. I'm just looking.
His into 4. Do it your style, but I don't want them to leave New York without having this hot dog, right?
That's so amazing.
So he brings it out, and the people all serve, the hot dog. He puts a dollop of relish, like the relish just does it very cheeky, right?
Wow.
And they're just blown away.
I think he just created a new word.
Cheeky?
Cheeky.
No, I think cheeky's out there.
Chic?
Cheeky.
I never heard of cheeky. Like, I was thinking you were saying cheeky, but it's...
No, cheeky. Like, very...
Like, I've never heard of cheeky. Okay. But that's a good word. I like it. He made it cheeky.
It's just very, just very, very elegant, but it's the street dog, right? They call it a dirty white water dog, I guess is what they call it.
Dirty dog.
Dirty dog, but he says water dog, dirty water dog.
Dirty water dog.
Because I guess the water is dirty. Oh, Oh,
I know how to
ding,
make
ding,
those.
ding. I didn't realize that. Okay. Oh, you know about, the hot dogs. Well, we get there in a minute. So people are blown away.
Yeah.
Another story he has, I love his stories. I'm so glad he wrote this book.
That's amazing.
Another
What a
story,
guy.
these people, again, had all this amazing time, right? They had this amazing trip.
Right.
So he goes, people either come there at the end of the trip or at the beginning of the trip,
Right.
So they were wrapping up their trip. And it just started to snow. And they're like, oh, of course it snows now because now we got to go. So then he's like, has one of his people run down by 4 sleds.
Oh my God.
After they're done, packs them in a town car, takes the sleds, takes them off sledding before they have, I'm getting chills, before they have to be out on their plane. Because where they live, I don't know where the people live.
Okay, now that takes money.
That takes money. Well, yeah. No, it does. But it's where he has learned by his father, and then I'll get into it, to be, and he talks about the 95 versus 5 rule, and I'll tell you the 5% would be the on the top, icing on the top.
Right. He goes out of his way.
He goes out of his way to do these things for the people, because in the end, it's like what Walt Disney has always had. It's all about your experience.
Okay.
I mean, I'm jumping ahead of some things. Like I'm in the part of his book because I'm down to chapter 17, so I'm almost near the end of the book.
Okay.
But I just couldn't. I cast away the person who's going to do it. I just am so, like you were saying, I just am so into him right now. I'm listening to him every second. It's that kind of a book. I'm even telling people about the book. Because I have a little earbuds on. I'm like, oh wait, I got to turn off my thing. I'm listening to Will, and then tell them about the book. And I even had one of my friends. They actually wrote down both books, and they're going to go back and listen to it.
Nice.
He, oh my gosh, I just scrolled what I was going to say.
He did all these amazing things for people. He believes in going up and above board.
Up and above board. Oh my goodness, it'll come back to me now. This is why I get so excited about these things.
I threw it off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. It's all my fault. I should learn to be in control. The way the business is in this in fine dining.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna start all over. I'm gonna start first with. Do you know? Fine dining is all about the stars. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you know how that started? All about the stars? The Michelin stars? Nope. It does have to do with the Michelin tires.
It does have to do with the Michelin tires.
But you know where that started? No. And why it started?
Tell me.
Okay, it started in France, and I even had it written down here. It started in France, and the Michelin tire company thought it would be really cool to... I have it on. They thought it'd be really cool to, as a bonus, as hospitality, to say, hey, so if you're going to get our new tires and you're going to go take a trip, we're going to tell you some great restaurants to go to.
Oh my God.
And we're going to say, this is going to be a 1-star, this is going to be 2, 3, 4. So that's how
cool.
all of that started.
Wow.
And
that's impressive.
Oh yeah, it is. So, see, I did have them all organized.
Oh, wait, what episode are we on?
Oh, yeah, we totally forgot. We are on, what are we at, 28?
28. Sorry,
28, episode 28.
Right? Yes, 28. We're on episode 28 already.
It's amazing.
And Will is kicking off.
And this is so cool. So it was a way to encourage drivers to use their cars more and obviously buy more tires.
Right.
But it's a part of hospitality. Right. So the Michelin brothers, Andre and Eduardo, what is it?
Edward
created the Michelin Guide in 1900 to promote travel and increase demand for their tires. The guide included information on how to change tires, maps, lists of restaurants, hotels, gas stations. It was given away free for 2 decades.
Wow. So
the Michelin star in 1926, the Michelin brothers again awarding stars to fine dining restaurants in the guide. The original system used a single star, but in 1931, they expanded it to a 3-star rating system. So a 1-star was a restaurant worth a stop. 2 stars was it was worth a detour.
Ooh.
3 stars meant that worth a special journey. See how that all... Okay.
Yeah,
So Michelin star
like
today,
this.
now it goes to 4 stars.
Right.
System is now considered one of the highest honors in dining. The Michelin Guide uses a team of anonymous inspectors with at least 10 years of hospitality experience to rate these restaurants, right?
I want to be in
the
that
inspectors
business.
I know are trained I wanted to go work restaurant, which, oh my God, it's so hard. I thought of my friend too.
Yeah.
I've got to let her know about this book because she's in the restaurant fine dining industry.
It's a destination.
It is a destination.
Anything you want to do, you just got to.
That's true. So their methodology is never inspect a restaurant more. Inspectors are trained in the Michelin Guide's methodology and never inspect a restaurant more than once. Well, that was kind of weird because they do go back.
Yeah.
But so in 2023, the chefs that had the most Michelin star worldwide was late French chef and restaurateur Joël. She's my person with Robachon. I'm so sorry, people. I'm like totally butchering his name. He was a chef, the most Michelin stars worldwide, 31 in his career.
Wow.
Then he was followed by Frenchman
Alain Ducasse
with 21, while British chef, we all know him, Gordon Ramsay, came in third with 17 stars. Out of 10, the most starred chef in the world, 5 of them hail from France.
Wow.
Now, I forgive me, I forgot to write down the guy's name. It's really sad. People take this really seriously. These stars are very seriously.
Yeah.
There was a chef that actually killed himself, took his life, because he didn't think he was going to get 3 stars. And the sad thing is, in the end, he did get 3 stars.
Oh, I'm going to cry.
I know. So we're going to move on from that. But that's to tell you, this is
nothing is worth that.
No, this is big stuff.
Yeah, that's not worth that.
So I've got some quotes for him later. The amazing journey. So this young gentleman, he was born November 25th in 1979. So he's coming up on a birthday. Mr. Will's going to have a birthday.
Yeah.
And he was born into the restaurant business because his dad is Frank.
Frank.
Guidara.
Yeah.
Guidara. And
I'm going to call him Dara. Guidara.
Guidara. He
sounds Italian or Polish.
I know. He was the CEO of Wolfgang Puck food group.
Okay.
So this is Puppy. This is his father.
Frank. He's a
very handsome man. And he does do speaking. And so it's in the book, and I didn't have time to go back and look into the book. They don't have a lot of information about his mom because it's really sad. So his mom and dad, they met. The cool thing is they met, and she was a stewardess.
Yeah.
And so I knew you'd like this.
Yeah, I used to be
and she, it was amazing. They fell in love, the whole bit.
Yeah.
But one day she was on the plane and she dropped the plate, the tray that had the coffee.
Right.
And so like, oh, okay, well, just maybe you're tired, maybe something happened. Yeah, I know. Maybe something happened, just
did she have a stroke?
Walk it off. No, they couldn't find anything. And so they're like, oh, it's a one-off, don't worry about it.
Right.
Well, it started happening more and more.
Oh, okay.
So she ended up having aggressive brain cancer or tumor.
Oh, sad, yeah.
It ended up making her a quadriplegic for most of her life. And then she did fall into these long comas where she was in comas. But the one thing I have to say that's so spiritual is that he'd go see his mom a lot, right? So there's not a lot of information about the mom because she obviously was, health-wise,
on the sideline.
She was on the sideline.
Yeah.
The cool thing though is how divine intervention works is he was visiting his mom and she was in the coma. He was just talking to her like he always does. And she woke up. Hey, so today you graduated, right?
She was in a different time.
But he did graduate. Oh. No, this is the uncanny thing. So this is where Divine Invention. He just graduated like that day.
High school or college?
High school. He just graduated. Okay. And he's like, yeah, I did. And she talked like she hadn't missed a beat. Like she was totally coherent. Yeah. They had this great conversation that he felt that went on for hours. And they had such a great time. And then she fell back into her coma. And I think it was 1 or 2 days later she died.
Wow. So that's so heavy.
I know, but the cool thing is how many people don't get that. So he was able to wake up, be with her, and so that was just the hardest thing ever. Yeah. But that's a miracle. Yeah, so that was very, very hard. So his dad is like his best friend. Aww. So his dad taught him all about the business. He talks about when his dad went out and bought him this Navy. He's very detailed in his books, which I love. And I'm thinking, okay, this book is only this thick, but somehow the Audible is like 7 hours. So I'm like, are you ad-libbing a lot into that book that's not in here? But probably not. I don't know. Maybe the way he's very slow the way he talks, but it's very calculated, and he's got a good voice.
Right. You are captivated.
Oh, I'm just captivated by him. And so he talks about how his navy jacket and the little gold buttons on it, and then he's like, here, you want to slip this on before we go into the restaurant, because his dad was into fine dining, right?
So he was Showtime ready.
So he fell in love with, oh my God, let me tell you, fine dining, well, the restaurant, 11 Madison Park, it's a minimum of $500 a plate.
Ouch.
So, but what goes with that, it's all about the ambiance. It's all about the experience. Yeah. And so he talks about how they refine and how they go back and forth, and how things happen, and how things spin, like how they get better out of all this stuff going on. Because when they started this, they were 50 on the world's best restaurants. Yeah. And then they became around number one. And let me tell you, it doesn't go without prep and
a lot of hard work.
His management style is amazing, because you just said team. It's putting people, like he talked about this one story of this one gentleman where nobody liked to work with him. The chefs didn't like to work with him because of his attitude. And then Will's like, yeah, this isn't his job, but I'm just not going to fire him. I think he needs this. So he put him in this whole responsibility role. The guy flourished. Oh my gosh.
Oh, really?
I think that one, he ended up becoming a GM. Wow. Yeah, so it's just about, what role? Because you've got to find people their right role. Maybe he doesn't want to be the runner. Because in your fine dining, did you realize they need to know all about the food?
Right.
Where does food come from?
Sure. Source.
Can it be done this way?
Yes.
Can it not be done that way? Right. There's so much pressure on these, and education that goes on, making sure that the way that the 4 people come in, the way they're setting the plates down, the plates are lined.
Sure.
The whatever's on the bottom is going to flip over my cup. That would have been funny. The logo's pointing out the right way. Right, I mean, all these details are choreographed. Placement, and he goes through all of that, and then that had brought up another moment that just flashed by. It just how they would challenge each other. And what I did not know until now is that your lead chef, which would have been Daniel Hume, which is a very good looking guy as well. There's another picture of him.
Oh, is that the chef?
That's the chef.
Let me see. Whoa.
Yeah. And I'll tell a little bit about him in a bit. So that chef really runs the thing. Yes. And you do, the chef will tell you how things are to be done and whatnot. And Ed had a temper about him, because they get very passionate about their food. Not Ed, sorry, what I said. I meant Daniel. I don't know where I went Ed.
We just renamed it.
I'm just having early Alzheimer's, I guess. I just want to change her name to Ed.
But it's Daniel.
They run it.
Yeah.
So you have to marry, you've got to have a really good GM and a really good chef that want to work together.
Right.
And that's where it's hard because they have to build the trust.
Yeah.
I remembered, it's all about the details. He was talking about in the last part of his book on how, you know, when you walk into a restaurant and you're greeted by that podium and then there's a girl with the little thing and, hi, how can I help you? Do you have a reservation?
Girl or guy?
Oh, girl. Oh, sorry, girl or guy. Yeah, I don't know why I said, because there's guys there too. I usually run into the girls. So the person that's right in front of you at the podium that has the tablet or has the screen, and it's like, I don't like that. You know, even in the fine dining, you come over and then you be seated. And so he developed a style where they would know in advance who, because I think theirs was more like reservation.
Right.
Oh, Mr. Jones, it's so good. I'm so glad to have you here tonight.
Wow.
You and your family. And there was no podium.
Right.
And they would greet them. And
that's nice.
And it's all about, again, it's all about the hospitality.
Customer service.
And how, I mean, just down to, that's why there's too much that is in this book, all the detail that went into and all the preparation and all the times where they failed and how they were gutted and where, like, even when he was about to, at 29, there's an award for best upcoming chef, and if you don't get it by 29, you don't get it. You can't get it after that, and he missed it. Oh. How Daniel missed it and how gutted. Yeah. And another restaurant.
Did he end up
chef,
getting it?
He got all different awards, but not that award.
Oh. Why, they had an age limit on it? Or?
That one, because it's the Rising Star.
Oh, okay.
Rising Star Chef Award. And this guy was known. I mean, he'd been in other restaurants and he was well known, but then there was another one that was just, they thought it was a little bit better. It's subjective. Yeah. You know, and especially, I don't know, like French food. I don't know if I would like the French food, but maybe I would. I don't know. I never tried the different things.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's become restaurateurs. But so to go back into him, so he actually he grew up in Will. He was from Sleepy Hollow, New York.
Oh my God,
Sleepy
Hollow, isn't that
Headless Horseman? Yes. So what a cool place to grow up.
Right, Sleepy Hollow.
Very cool.
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, and he did his education was Cornell University, which he loved. Yeah. Which he totally loved that. And so so the background, if you go into his background, it just says a native of the Sleepy Hollow, New York. He graduated Cornell University School of Hotel Administration in 2001, and then he began his dining room career at Wolfgang Puck's Spargo in Beverly Hills.
Which I went
Have you been there? Is it good?
I don't know if it's even there anymore. Yeah,
oh, maybe
sure,
not.
I went there.
Oh, he talks about that. Yeah. All the way they had to be creative in 2008.
Yeah.
When we had the recession. Oh my goodness. And where restaurants were closing. Yeah. And they were only able to what is that other restaurant? It's the Shack. They only survived, the Madison 11 only survived because of, I keep forgetting that name of the restaurant. It was not the Sugar Shack, but it was a Shack.
Something with Shack in it. That's okay.
I know, but it was such a cool name.
Yeah, it's okay. It'll come to you.
It'll come to me. So it's amazing how they had to, out of desperation to survive.
Right.
But they didn't lose anybody, and how they redid everything. So my whole thing is that if you are a person that's working on a team, you're a business owner, personal growth, this book is amazing to go through. Nice. It sparks you, and it makes you want to have a team, to work with.
Hey, we could get virtual assistants.
Well, we are a team, but
we're a team, but we could get virtual assistants. I just found out.
Virtual assistants.
Yeah, they can do our work for us. Well, some of our work.
We'll have to talk about that.
We'll talk about that later. I haven't introduced her to this world yet.
No. So he went on to various roles in Danny Meyer's Union Square Hospitality Group, including Tabla, Cafe 2 and the restaurants at the Museum of Modern Art. And that was all fascinating when he was talking about all of that.
Yeah, I love food at museums.
Oh, I know. And then
like,
he was like...
It's so good. I don't know why. I just love it.
Well, it was funny because he wanted to run the cafes. He didn't want to do the fine dining at first, right? But then... he had that switch of hospitality. Then in 2006, he became the general manager of 11 Medicine Park, working with Hume. And then in 2011, both Hume and Will purchased the restaurant from the Union Square Hospitality Group, which was amazing.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
And then in 2012, Guidara and Hume opened Nomad in New York, and then a separate Nomad bar in 2014.
Okay.
And then in 2017, they both opened Made Nice, a fast casual restaurant in New York's Nomad neighborhood.
Nice.
And then they opened up in 2018 Nomad in Los Angeles, their first restaurant outside of New York, followed by Nomad in Vegas.
Okay.
And then in 2019, they announced that they were ending their partnership and going separate ways.
2019.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
So the cool thing about Will goes through and he talks about his, the good thing he wasn't married at the time, because this restaurant he was married to.
Sure.
It's kind of like Edison, Tesla. I mean, they're so hyper focused. That becomes their own mission, and they can't have any distractions, and that's what he thought at the time. But then he did meet Christina Tossi, and
I think I've seen her. She was the founder of Milk Bar, right?
Yep, Milk Bar. Yeah, she's in there.
Monofocal.
Yeah, right there. She is. So he met her. They did get married. I didn't go into those details because I really wanted to focus about him, but I will show a picture and talk about her in a second.
There she is.
So here. Yeah, there she is. We'll show her off.
Adorable. Here, let's show her off.
Okay, there's his wife.
Okay.
And he does have 2 children, but they only talk about the one. He had a girl, and her name's Frances, but she goes by Frankie.
Frankie Ray.
And I have no idea on the boy because they don't talk about him. They're very private.
That's
very private in the information.
Okay.
So this book takes you through all of that, all of the knit and grit, everything.
Grit. Keyword.
The remarkable power of giving people more than they expect. And this book gave me more than I expected. And I guess I didn't expect it to be all about, restaurant details. So
right. Well, that can apply to anything in your life, is what I hear you saying.
Oh, it applies to everything about being hospitable. So looking at my time, I'm going to have to go through some of these things. So they become great partners. They do have their ups and downs.
Who's
but Ed, I keep calling him Ed. Daniel. I want to change your name, Daniel. Daniel and Will. Okay. They work their ups and downs. They go through all of this change. They become so successful. I know at the end of the book, they do reach their 1-star. I mean, they come not when they're 4-star, and they become number 1.
Oh my God!
So
that's insane.
It took them so long to get there, and they weren't afraid of people leaving. Like they would. Man, they got a special person that just did the wines. Yeah. A special person that just did coffee. Right. A special person that just did desserts.
That's right.
They so spent their money, but they spent it in the way to where people were blown away. Yeah. What is it like to have a good cup of coffee?
Right. Sure.
Because he would go to restaurants and then he was served like a cup of coffee. And he's like this. And you want to end it on a nicety, right? Yeah. The details are incredible. Okay. So he not only has been the restaurateur, he's also wrote books. So he has written 4 books: 11 Medicine Park, the cookbook. He has done I Love New York. He's done the Nomad cookbook, and then he's also done his Unreasonable Hospitality.
I'm gonna pick the cookbooks.
He also is a co-producer writer of the comedy drama, which I have to get into, the series based on the restaurant. It's kind of, I think, a little bit of what he went through. Okay. Called The Bear.
Oh.
And so you can find that on Hulu and Disney.
Okay, I'm gonna look for it.
So I'm gonna definitely look him up and see.
I'm gonna look up that.
What that's all about. So as far as awards, I mean, he's won lots of awards. Awards,
too many to mention.
Yeah, for outstanding service in 2016, 2014. These are all the James Baird Foundation Awards, which are the coveted awards. Outstanding bar program in Nomad, New York, 2008. Again, these are all James Baird. Outstanding wine service at 11 Madison Park. The Michelin stars, they have 3 stars at Madison, and then
when did they go to 4-star?
That's what I was just going to say. I goofed. They are 3 stars.
Oh, they're not
3 stars at 11 Madison, and then
Still.
Nomad 1 star, and then Innovator Awards in 2016. That goes on to his books.
Okay.
All of this comes from Wikipedia, but So the 5 takeaways I thought was cool. They had pre-printed out. Was these are the 5 takeaways from the book. It's allowing positivity to set the tone for your relationships. So it says the observation comes from I'm going to say working with Randy. All of these names I can't pronounce. People. Gartui. Shake Shack. That's what it is. The CEO of Shake Shack.
Oh my God,
and Shake Shack
Shake
at 11,
best hamburger I ever had the other day.
That carried them through.
Oh my God, Shake Shack was so good. I had a truffle burger the other day.
Oh my gosh.
And my husband and I gave him some of it, and he had a complete different interpretation of that burger than I did. I was tasting my own flavors, and he tasted Thanksgiving, and I was like, I'm not tasting that.
Interesting.
I had to but I loved it. Nevertheless, I loved that burger.
She brings up 2 other points where they're talking about Thanksgiving, that they ended up opening up for Thanksgiving, but then having a real Thanksgiving for their employees, for their team.
Yeah.
And then even when they had like disappointing things come through, he talks about bringing out your best champagne, your best wine.
Yeah.
And the approach that he has, that's what I'm saying.
Life to its fullest. That's what I hear.
We're going to party down.
Yep.
But he didn't tolerate anybody drinking on the job. So he did have one that he caught. And he's like, usually I'd fire you right on the spot, give you one more opportunity. He did it again, fired him.
Yeah.
So he was true to his word, but he was a great person to work with.
Nice.
But so that reminded me when you said Thanksgiving, how they did their own tradition.
That's so nice.
And became really gelled together. So, but at the time, the general manager of Tabla, Indian French restaurant, the Shake Shack, but hang on.
Pause.
Well, no, because we stopped in the middle of it when we talked about Shake Shack. So it says observation comes from him working for Randy, the CEO of Shake Shack.
Oh, okay.
But at the time was the general manager of Tabla.
Okay.
So he was the general manager of Tabla, the French Indian restaurant.
Okay.
By the late chef Lloyd Gardos. Says, ask him how his day is going, and he'd say, man, I'm trying to make the day the very best day of my life. Guidara writes. I might have rolled my eyes, but the kind of unwavering positivity turned out to be impossible to resist, largely because Randy believed every bit of what he was saying, and before long, so do we. So it's all about buying in.
That's right. Being
corporate smart and restaurant smart. So it says the Myers group of restaurants that they hold, the 4 restaurants when Will started working for him, customers loved them and they were good places to work, but they didn't have much corporate infrastructure yet. So Will said they were restaurant smart, but he learned the importance of being corporate smart and then worked for a multi-concept company, Restaurant Associates, where his dad was executive. Their controller of Hunky, I gotta have a better job of pronouncing these people. Handy Unkin kept such meticulous records that he could tell by the numbers that the lobster prices had spiked, and he'd moved to have them taken off the menus. Something that someone with power at the center could notice and act on. But Will says being corporate smart, the restaurant smart, was often contrary often contradictory. So he says, but you need both to be successful. So that's where he started building all of this. So you need to be corporate smart, but restaurant smart on when you're making choices, and is it productive to do what they were talking about doing. So his big thing is the 95/5 rule. He said, hard-nosed and fascist about 95% of your expenses, but lash out something exorbitant. That's the 5%, where it can be a significant impact. So he dialed in his books so well that he knew where every penny was going. And then he'd be creative about, well, what if we did this? I could save, but no one would really notice much, and then put it over here. So he was always testing the waters, but he goes, you have to have that 5% extravagance, because that's what sets you apart from everybody else.
Right.
So you can go to McDonald's and get a hamburger, and it's not a very good experience.
Right.
For
some it is.
Well, yes, for some it is. But it's making it go over the top, being unreasonable about what you would expect. And that's hard, because you have to make sure that you're being impactful for everybody. So his examples were the insanely expensive, Italian spoons that he bought for the gelato cart outside when it was at the Modern Museum.
Oh, that's nice.
So fine dining. So he got this thing where he wanted to do a gelato cart.
Right.
And he found these ridiculous, and they're blue, I guess, ridiculously expensive spoons. But when people were eating the gelato, and with the way the spoon was, it was like, people were like, oh my God, these spoons are so cool.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it made the whole experience. So they just had to find ways to
make that experience,
tighten things up without sacrificing.
Sure.
Yeah.
I get it.
So he goes, it seems ridiculous, but they were so beautiful, and he insists that the people came back to the cart to use them again and again. So
I think you should be on his PR team. No,
I have to read it again, because there's so much to this. And it says, give people ownership of their responsibilities. So he wanted to let staff run with what they loved.
Yeah. Okay.
If you didn't love wine, and I put you in the wine bar,
it'd be difficult.
You'd be, here's your red rosé. Where does it come from? I don't know, somewhere over in Italia. She loves wine. But so one guy was obsessed with coffee. That's what I was telling you about. So he put him in charge of a coffee program. An inspiring mixologist was put in charge of the cocktail program. All of that resulted in a better wine program, because that person that was doing wine was also doing the coffee, was also doing the cocktails. No. And they couldn't speak the language proficiently and get excited. So he's like, I'm taking that off your plate and giving it to this person. I'm going to take that off your plate and give it to you. And so it freed people up. And then that way they could put their passion where it's at. So it's well, and then it goes, create legends. So 11 Medicine Park staff would go above and beyond to create unique and memorable experiences for their guests. When the children or family visiting, it was from Spain, that was what it's from, they'd never seen snow.
Oh, wow.
He and his team bought sleds, took them via limo to Central Park for a few hours of fun before they had to return to Europe.
Wow. Can
you imagine having the ability to do that? It takes money. But he put that aside to be able to do these things. Another was a European four-top on their way to the airport after a meal, who lamented that they were, it was a hot dog one.
Right.
Where, they were so excited
street dogs.
About being in New York, and then they're like, oh, snap, we didn't get the hot dog. Then he brings him back.
Right.
He has to go to Daniel, and Daniel's like, what the hell, what? This is a hot dog. We're fine dining, remember?
Yeah.
And he plays it out to where, he's like, trust me. Will's like, trust me. They need this experience. This is a good thing. And then they went, Daniel does his spiel on it. And it was just amazing. So it's
about going above board.
Oh yeah, and he goes, and they were just like nuts about it. So those are a couple of those examples. And then to go into Mr. Daniel, that I keep calling Ed. So maybe your middle name is Ed, and I must know something. I don't know. I'm giving you the middle name.
That's okay. We don't have to go too much.
So yeah, he was born in September in 76. So he's a little bit older than Will.
Not by much.
Not by much. And he had moved. He actually was born in Switzerland, and he had moved to the States.
Wow.
And he'd become executive chef at the Campton Place in San Francisco, where he received 4 stars. This man was really known for. This man was just, the ability is just beyond. And so then 3 years later, he moved to New York and became executive chef at the Madison, 11 Madison.
That's really nod-worthy. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. And then I just have a couple quotes.
Okay.
So, one of the big books that he does credit, he's like that 1 Minute Manager, which I do have that.
What is it called?
1 Minute Manager book.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
Okay.
1 Minute Manager.
Okay.
And he talks about it's so important that to praise people in public and criticize behind closed doors.
Right. Yeah.
And
For
to take the emotion out of it.
Yes.
But some of his top 10 quotes, and then remind you that this is a $500, well, it was at the time, per plate restaurant. And this makes me want to go to this restaurant and save up money.
That's right.
And that's what he talked about too. People would save all their money and go to these places, and you've got people of all different different walks of life and different spaces and income levels and that.
Right.
And he said they did take a hit when the recession did come because people would that got engaged there. They would be toasting outside and they'd wave to the crew because they couldn't come in and afford that lavish meal. So that's where your lavish stuff gets cut first and foremost. But hospitality and excellence, those two concepts, they're not friends. Often, the perfect moment to give someone more responsibility is before they're ready. So he talks about how they conflict each other, but they complement each other. So consistency is one of the most important and underrated aspects of being a leader. So you have to be consistent, and that's where he's like, I gotta fire you because I have to be consistent in my word. Once people had gotten a feel of how good it felt to make contribution, they would start actively looking for a way to do it again and again. He's talking about his people. And it was a way for us to communicate. On everybody's first day, we hired you for a reason. You know you have something can contribute. He didn't want, even the dishwasher. He's like, the dishwasher hears everything.
That's right.
Don't dismiss them.
No.
So you got to, I'm seeing them at an hour. You've got to move on. I could go on and on about this. I guess.
I think you're going to have to read the book, everyone. I think it's so
an amazing book. This is his beautiful, talented wife.
Oh, you should.
She does. It's going to just blue her on again.
Yeah. Okay.
She is also an American chef, cookbook author. She is the founder and co-owner of Monofuku of Milk Bar, and serves as a chef and executive officer. She's done Food and Wine magazines, include in her 1914 list most innovative women in food and drink.
Nice.
And then they live in Manhattan as of late. So
they're a great team.
They're a great team. So there again. So they did split amicably. They just were on different pages.
It was time.
Yeah, Daniel wanted to go do something different.
Yeah.
And so did Will. But I can't stress enough, you guys. This is an amazing book, full of so many amazing nuggets. That's why I bought the book. That's why I gave it to you as well.
I can't wait to read it.
I want everybody to be able to go through it and pick it up. Like I said, whether you're owner, business owner, personal leadership.
We're in the people business.
Team leader. It just really talks about
going up and
beyond.
And that's what you always do.
Well,
that was a great story.
Yeah, wow. I jumbled a lot through that. Sorry.
No, it was long. It was good, but it was informative. And I think maybe people will want to read the book now.
I hope you do, because I've been like having this little earpiece listening. And then I got to click off the phone. I was telling her. And then I've just been, people, you got to read this book.
Anyway, if you have any comments for us, you can reach us at coffeeandapodcast@gmail. No, shit.
coffeeandapodcast3@gmail.com.
Because that's the only one we can secure. Anyway, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you. As always.
No, thank you. That was a great story. It's really good.
Yeah, I would have never known about this man if it wasn't for Brian Buffini and going through.
Thank you, Brian.
If you're into coaching, if you're into growing yourself as a leader and as a person, Brian Buffini has great coaching. So does, if you want to be here local, we have Turn the Dial coaching also with Scott and Renee Comey. Okay. They're amazing. Coaching, but
we don't get paid for that, but that's
no,
good.
I didn't get paid for that. But
none of those things, but it's good to promote the people that we appreciate and like.
Yeah, because I'm doing 12-week year with him before, and we'll do it again.
Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Be kind and
to each other.
Be good.
I don't think we have any quotes today. We're out.
All right, peace out.